Brett Okamoto with ESPN alongside UFC President Dana White following UFC 248 here at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Dana, it's good to see you in person after our botched live Instagram earlier in the week when I'm driving in a car.
Well, hopefully now you know you don't do those in a car, okay? You don't go on the internet in a car.
I mean, it's 2020. My cell phone bill is pretty expensive. I thought I would have the bandwidth. Apparently not.
Yeah. Strike one.
Let's talk about the main event, Israel Adesanya versus Yoel Romero. Obviously not the fight a lot of people were expecting. Why do you think it went that way?
Well, I don't know if that's not the fight people expect. I mean, when you look at the way that Israel Adesanya fights, he fights to the level of his opponent. The Anderson Silva fight was very much like that too. The Paulo Costa fight will not be like that. Paulo Costa will come forward. He will throw tons of punches. He will try to knock him out. It will be a much different fight. Kelvin Gastelum fight was incredible because Kelvin Gastelum comes after you and tries to take your head off. The Whitaker fight was incredible because Whitaker tries to take your head off. Yoel Romero, I expected him to come out tonight like a bat out of hell. This was his last opportunity at a title shot, and he didn't take it. I was shocked to see the way that he fought tonight.
Yeah, and coming in, I felt like Adesanya had an opportunity to really add to his legacy. You know, there was this whole narrative of he didn't have to take this fight. This was a tough fight. This guy's been on a rocket ship really ever since he came into the UFC. Do you think that this lowers his status a little bit? Do you think it actually hurts him, or do you think he just moves on very quickly from it?
Listen, he wanted this guy on his resume. He got it. He won the fight, and he got it. And you know, he fought the fight the way that he had to. When Romero's just standing there doing what he's doing, he fought the right fight. He stayed on the outside. He chopped that leg apart, kept attacking the leg, and if he would have thrown a few more leg kicks, that fight probably would have been over. You know, but if Yoel Romero would have fought like he normally did in the past and tried to take Adesanya's head off, it would have been a really good fight.
And maybe this is the wrong time to ask you because it was a little bit of a, I guess, frustrating performance, but where do you think Yoel Romero goes from here? I mean, he's now lost in multiple title fights at 185. What do you think his future is?
Tonight was a bad night for him. Tonight was a bad night. You know, you get another, you get probably what's going to be your last title shot opportunity, and you don't do anything. You know, he had a rough night and he had a bad showing, and I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
All right, I'm going to give you an opportunity to brag a little bit. You've been talking about Joanna Jedrzejczyk and Weili Zhang all week, and I would say that the fight lived up to your expectations. What did you think of the co-main event?
Yeah, no, I knew that fight was going to be incredible. Both of these women are incredibly talented, both incredibly hungry. They both want that belt. And I knew that this thing, what you don't know is, will one of them clip the other one and get knocked out or a submission? That stuff can happen, but I figured if that didn't happen, this was going to be one of the most ridiculous fights. And I was begging and urging people to tune in and watch this fight and not miss it. And they did. Tonight was a really good night for us. So I'm really happy for both of them and proud of them. And you know, it's the fight of the year.
I know you're not a smell the roses kind of guy, but as you're sitting there in the arena and you have a Chinese champion walking out to Chinese music, I mean, you think back 19 years ago when you guys were just trying to get this sport on the map and get it sanctioned in different places. I mean, do you take some kind of satisfaction that, hey, we have a global Chinese champion walking out at T-Mobile Arena tonight?
Yeah, I mean, but that's my job. That's what I do. That's what they pay me for, you know. And I'm going for the rest of the world. We're going to build a PI down in Mexico, and we're going to have a Mexican world champion walking out to the crowd. I'm going to put one in Puerto Rico. We're going to have a Puerto Rican world champion. And the list goes on and on. My job is to continue to build the sport, build young new fighters, and then turn them into stars. That's my job. So, yeah, that's, you know, I'm not going to be smelling any roses for doing my job.
Did you get a chance to talk to Joanna Jedrzejczyk after the fight at all?
I did. I talked to both of them, and, you know, I was just saying what an incredible fight. You know, I just couldn't tell them enough how incredible both of them were.
Do you know if any health update on Joanna? Sometimes those hematomas can look worse than they really are, but any update?
I literally asked when I was walking in here, and Doc Davidson didn't have anything for me yet.
Similar question about her regarding that I asked you about Romero. She's now 0-4 in her last 4 title fights. If you could give her some advice on where you would like to see her go, I mean, she came within 1 round of becoming a champion again tonight, but what would you say to her?
Joanna?
Yeah.
Joanna's 0-4 after fighting the best in the world and putting on the fight of the year. So, you know, I have no advice for Joanna Jedrzejczyk. Whatever she's doing, keep doing it. You looked incredible tonight. You know, she's one of the baddest women on the planet, and anytime she goes in to fight, if you're her opponent, you better be prepared, you better be in shape, and you better be ready. Joanna is incredible.
Obviously, Sean O'Malley looked terrific tonight. I'm not going to ask you to go over his performance. It was fantastic. What I would like to know is, he's a young guy, he's 3-0 in the UFC. How would you like to matchmake him? What do you think is appropriate for him in his next few fights?
He's been out for a couple of years, which has given him plenty of time to heal up, get his body right. He had a minor surgery that he recovered from, and I want to get him back in there as soon as possible.
Against who? What caliber of opponent? You don't got to tell me the exact name, but what do you think he's ready for?
I don't know. I don't know right here off the top of my head, but we'll match him up well and get him his next fight.
Okay, just a few more questions. UFC 249, you had a press conference yesterday. There's a lot of things going on. Belts were being kicked, gloves were being worn, baseball was up there. You had a front row seat for it. What did you think of that scene?
Tonight was a crazy night. We had Paulo Costa jumping over the barrier and going crazy. We had friggin' another fighter getting a fight with another fighter. Tonight was a weird night. Nobody was doing anything when the co-main event was going on. Then the main event went on and everybody lost their minds. It's all good though. We got through tonight and on to the next one.
One thing I'd ask you about the main event, Ali Abdelaziz, very rational guy, never too emotional, Ali Abdelaziz. He told me today that Khabib Nurmagomedov, once he beats Tony Ferguson, he will not fight Conor McGregor unless Conor fights Justin Gaethje and earns it first. He says he absolutely will not agree to that fight. As the president of the UFC, how do you respond to that comment?
We'll see. We'll see.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports and analysis, download the ESPN app, and for live streaming and special content, subscribe to ESPN+.